Steve, firstly, can you bring us up to speed with the reasons there's no Kieran Tierney or Scott McKenna, please?
Both injured, so both gone back to their clubs.
How big a blow is that for you?
It's obviously disappointing because you don't want to lose any players from the squad. Kieran and Scott, two good players playing to the best of their ability, but as I always say, injuries are sent to test you. It's now a chance for someone else.
Yeah, how much do you have to think about now in terms of how you replace them and what you do going into this game?
Quite a lot. One or two missing from training this morning. We've got some kind of virus in the camp, just sickness. So Lyndon Dykes, Shea Adams didn't train this morning, didn't feel very well, but they'll be on the plane. So we've got that to worry about as well. So we're not short of issues, and we're also not short of determination to go there and finish the job.
Just a word for Greg Taylor, somebody you know really well. He's come in and likely to replace Kieran Tierney, came off the bench as well. When you think back to when you had him at Kilmarnock to now, just how much progress has he made as a player and how important is he?
Greg's determination to do well was apparent to me as soon as I walked in the door at Kilmarnock. I know he wants to get better. He's moved to a bigger club. He's handled the expectation and the pressure of playing at that bigger club. Any time I've asked him to perform for the national team, he's done very well. So no worries about Greg. And you want that all over the pitch. I've also got Josh Doig. Young Josh has come in. He's trained very well. Looks good. Big prospect for us. Stephen Kingsley's come into the squad, can cover that position as well. Kenny McLean's actually played 3 or 4 games for Norwich at left back this year, so we're well covered. It's a case of just dealing with what the fate's thrown at us just now and getting on with it, like I say, and being determined to finish the job.
At centre back, you've got Declan Gallagher. You called in Ryan Porteous has been in the squad. Is it one of those two to partner Jack Hendry now?
And Stephen Kingsley can play there as well. So we've got really good options. Disappointing to lose Scott McKenna. Like I said, we've got a little sickness bug in the camp, so maybe I'll wake up tomorrow morning, I've got a different set of problems, I don't know. So just deal with it.
You mentioned about getting the job done. How good a sign will this be in terms of progress given what happened in the last Nations League campaign, because this team has shown that it's got character? Would this be another sign if you can go and make sure you get the job done? Yeah,
they've also already done better in this campaign than they did in the last one, because we're 2 points better off. I spoke about the summer and how we felt as though we'd stalled a little bit. We've tried to kickstart and go again. You've seen with the 2 performances, the 2 results, that we feel we've done that. But we haven't done anything yet. We want to finish top of the group. We have to go to Ukraine. We have to play as well as we can play and get the result required.
How's Aaron Hickey? It was obviously concerning him having to come off the other night.
Yeah, again Aaron just felt a little bit tight on the game, probably with this game in mind. I knew I've got Tony Ralston on the bench who can go in and do a good job for us. He's done it before. Aaron trained this morning. Seems to be okay. So I've got a good choice now to make between Tony and Aaron for the right back position.
The players have been tested a lot in terms of injuries during the game, just the way the games have gone. How happy are you that they're ready for another test without some of these players that have been mainstays for you?
No, I think we've shown our adaptability. We've shown that when we pass a message, it's not just to the first 11, it's not just to the starting 11. The message is for everybody. We ask them to concentrate very hard in the training sessions so that they know what they're going to be asked to do when they go to the pitch. And that's something that I set out to do a long time ago, was to get that continuity, to get a number of caps. It was good the other night where I could present John McGinn with a 50th medal for his 50th cap, Kenny McLean 25, Callum McGregor's getting up towards 50, and we've got a few more approaching 25, so we're becoming more experienced.
The mission was always to make sure you were going over to Poland knowing that a draw or a positive result was going to get them through. How much confidence do they have that they've got there, they've achieved what they needed to so far?
I think we're obviously in a good shape mentally, because we've had 2 good performances, 2 different performances, but 2 good performances, because there's no way you can replicate what we did against Ukraine 3 days later against a totally different opponent. It was always going to be a more frantic game, if you like, against the Republic. But we showed our qualities. People talk about the character and the grit and the determination, but we also showed our qualities to get the result in that game.
How big an achievement would it be to earn promotion to Group A?
I think the achievement for us is just to keep improving. So if that brings promotion to Group A, then it's another step on the way.
With the back-to-back wins, in fact 3 wins in a row, Hampden's full. In your mind, what do you think you're building here?
I think the players are showing what I've said for a long time about them, is that they're determined to do well for their country. I think the connection between the Scottish public and this squad of players is as good as it's been for a long, long time. And that's very important for us. Everybody likes to feel loved, you know, so when you feel as though you've got that support for the Scottish public, the players feel good about themselves.
And in terms of the way that you're playing and the levels that you're hitting, do you feel that you've gone up a level, up a notch? You talked about like kick-starting and recovering from having stalled.
I think we've started moving forward again. As long as you can keep moving forward and keep striving to be as good as you can be, then nobody can aim. I was going to say nobody can aim criticism at you. People will always try to criticise you, but as long as you're striving to improve all the time, you can live with that.
And I'm wondering as well, in terms of yourself as a manager and as a squad, how big a test is this, given what you're saying with injuries, and twice you've mentioned about a virus? It sounds like this could actually be a huge test of you, your staff, the players, everyone.
Yeah, but that's what it's about. You're always being asked questions. You're always being tested. So I'm sure we'll do enough to pass the test.
Just on Barry Mackay and Stephen Kingsley, obviously been drafted into the squad. What is it that you've seen in them that you feel that they're the correct options at this point? Consistency of play for both of them. Barry's been consistent with Hearts. Creative, a player that can win a game in a moment. Stephen's a good professional, like I've already pointed out, can play 2 or 3 different positions. I think he's made a big difference to the Hearts team since he went there, and the fact that he gives them that little bit of composure at the back. He can play, he can defend. Both good players, and like I said the last time, I'm looking at all the players. I'm always looking, because you never know, you might find that your squad is stretched to the maximum, and you have to find players that can come in and players that you feel you can trust, and I think I can trust both. What are the biggest things that you feel yourself and the squad can take from that result and performance against Ukraine last week? No, we played well, but it's a different game. It will be a different mindset for the Ukrainians. They know how good we are. We didn't show them how good we were in the summer, but now they know how good we are, or how good we can be, and they'll be determined to play to their best. We're determined to play to our best, so should be a pretty good game.
Last couple, please.
Despite the fact that obviously a draw would see yourselves win the group, is it always a case of going into every game, you know, never having that mentality of a draw is enough? It's always a case of going out there to win the game, get all 3 points?
It's a question that's always asked about this sort of situation. I don't think anybody ever goes and sets out for a draw. Your team is always set up to try and win the game. If you play as well as you can, but the win's not there, then normally the fallback situation is that you'll get a draw. So we're certainly not going there to set up for a draw, because then if you don't reach your expectations, you lose the game.
What impact do you think playing 3 games in a week has had on the injury list and the squad health?
Yeah, big factor. With ourselves in Ukraine are still suffering from the catch-up, if you like. We have to catch up matches. We have to play 3 games in a short space of time. We knew that would be the case. And like I said before, you just have to deal with it. There's a reason why we're having to do this, and the reason that we're having to do this is much bigger than a game of football.
Consistency is one of your buzzwords. How consistent has your game plan been able to be, given how many call-offs and injuries you've had?
No, listen. Game plan, team selection, we can play 3-5-2, we can play 3-4-3, we can play 4-2-3-1, we've shown that. We've got players that could play 4-3-3, so we can be adaptable. We've had some really good away performances with a 3-5-2. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking Austria, England, Serbia. So we have adaptability now within. I've always said we have adaptability, and then I always kept playing the same system. So it was nice. It's nice to be able to show that we actually did have adaptability by changing the system for the last 2 games. But going forward, we can change in game, we can change before game. So that's a good place to be because it keeps the opposition guessing as well.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks very much.